So we will speak about a study we made about contamination potential of pesticides in a smallholder irrigation sector. But before that, I would like to frame context of the studies. Je m'aperçois que je parle en anglais sans doute. Je vais essayer de continuer. So we have learned a lot about general context of pesticides, and what we must recall is that their short-term efficiency and that the world surface treated are an extension in the world. We face a large number of ingredients, and of course, since the 60s, we have a controversial impacts that are subject to debate in society. About water contamination by pesticide, we must define contamination. We will define it as movement of pesticide outside the target zone. The target zone is the plant and the soil, where we get the two blue arrows are the contamination path towards water contamination, either on the runoff that will contaminate rivers and streams, and either by percolation that will contaminate underground water. Here, as an example, we have maps of the regular monitoring of contents of pesticides in French waters. So what is our aim of research is first the understanding of the contamination processes and provide this knowledge to the society, and also help recommendation to farmers and authorities. There is controversial perceptions in Maghreb countries about pesticide water contamination. People argue that Mediterranean climate tends to decrease the emergency to study pesticide contents in different environments. And one of the most impacting idea is that the use of pesticides in Maghreb agricultural system is far less important, and so we should not dedicate too much effort. The first thinking is that poor and small farmers are reluctant to use herbicides, and not only they are reluctant because of technical knowledge, but they have some difficulty to join to access the product because of the price of the molecules in general. And then other risks must be considered first. That some people say that shortage of water, why should we consider quality of water if we have first a shortage of it? And then quality is not only pesticide, as you know, there's also a lot of problems like salinity, nutrients, etc. We are in also I would like to frame the context of the research about pesticides around the Mediterranean countries. Here there's a balance of publication since, I think, since the 50s to nowadays, recorded in Web of Science. As you see, there's a misbalance between the production of scientific papers between north and south sides, and also some differences between west and east side of the Mediterranean countries. If we focus on Maghreb, we see that into last year, we could say that the body of the research about pesticide was about 400 papers. And among them, about water resources, only about 40 papers. If we join the production about Morocco, Algeria, and Tunisia. What is interesting to see is also that countries specialized in some topics. For instance, in Tunisia, most of the production of knowledge about pesticide is focused on health and incidences, while in Algeria and Morocco, experiments about degradation and absorption in water are more used. We see here that only a small amount of studies are dedicated to field measurements or contain field measurements. Now let's come to our case. We start the study in the idea that we had to document the pesticide pressure in Tunisia to be able to know about this story of this thinking about poor farmers not accessing to the products. So we made a survey in 66 smallholders in Lemna village, Gabon, in an irrigated area. The area is irrigated by a mix of surface and underground water, and the main production is tomato and chili pepper. So you see that each owner is about less than 3 hectares, and the field plot is about half an hectare. This is some of the results of the monitoring that show it's a continuous place where we make the monitoring. We meet everybody and ask what they are doing and what they will do, and then come back and ask what they have done and what they will do. So we have 2 asking periods, and then we surveyed 1 year and a half production. The idea of having continuous space with the knowledge of the doses was to be able to define if there were some hotspots inside them, and also to be able to give a global view of the agronomic system impact. So the result is that a large number of ingredients were used by the farmer. There's about 60 active ingredients that we observed in August 2014. Among these 60 active ingredients, we see here the main products that are used. These are products that we tried to select among the most large doses that were applied in this context. Another type of work, and here I joined the next exposure about irrigation, is to try to make a calendar of the contents of the products in the target zone during the seasons of irrigation. We see that here the products that I put in red are 2 products that we found in the wells in near the zone. We see also that, of course, there's a combination of high rate of irrigation with high rate of treatments. But inside the winter production story, there's a rain that take place and that could influence mostly about trifluorine and limuron ingredients. So what did we learn from that site? We learned that smallholders of irrigated field use pesticide the same way European farmers do in legume production. There is roughly the same number of molecules, roughly the same quantities applied, and roughly the molecules are the same. Irrigation context may favor water contamination, and we find that this analysis corresponds to the first substances we found in the wells. We learn also from other sites. For example, we were in contact with a team working in Bizerte Lagoon, where they found about 10 main substances that we used, and a pressure that is roughly the same that in North-side Mediterranean countries. Also, in an observatory in Capon, we had a long-term monitoring of substances since long-term. It means that we followed since beginning of 2000s the use of pesticides in small cereal fields, and there is about 20 substances that are, surprisingly, there is about 20 substances that are used. And referring to the presentation we had about legislation evolution, 80% of the substances or ingredients that are used now are new. They change substances. And then we have another example in Algeria about Biskra tomato greenhouses, where 46 substances are used only for tomato, and 20% of these substances are banned or non-authorized ingredients. Usually, as we focus about the research in water contamination by pesticide, we can define a few steps of stages about the studies. Firstly, here in Tunisia and in most of the Maghreb country, I think we are in diagnostic studies. We try to see what substance what ingredient is used, and we try to detect contents in the different environmental matrix. So what we do is survey and monitoring, first sampling, and the development of measurement method. The step 2, which starts in some cases, is that we start to study, we focus on process, and it's from now in Maghreb country that we can start. And then the step number 3, which is the more easy to publish with, is the forecast studies, where we simulate the contamination, integrating water and pollutant fluxes, the agronomic practice, and being able to forecast and to study a scenario of management. What we will have to face in the next time is some difficulties. It's difficult in Tunisia to analyze the contents in soil and water. It's not only expensive, but access is limited by the routine lab. For instance, I went to different labs with my list of ingredients that we find to be used in Lebna village, and we find that not more than 20 could be analyzed in Tunisia. And the surprise was when I came back to France, or when I addressed this list to a big French laboratory, is about 20 of them could not be analyzed in routine analysis. And then the topic is still hot. We had some, not confrontation, but strong discussion with the farmers about our interest of our research, what would be the incidences among their proper difficulties. But also we have opportunities, and I would like to conclude with this. First, there's a change of perception about environmental contamination here. It's very, the fact that we are here to speak about these topics is the proof of it. Then the research organization in Tunisia are well organized and stable, and so there's a lot of people that want to put efforts on this research. We already have a few studies at the step number 1, which is a diagnostic step, and then all is to be done in Tunisia, so it's very easy to develop research. And then there is a technical part of opportunities, which consists of the use of passive samplers development that are very commonly used now in France and are start to be used in Bizet, I think. Thank you for your attention, and I want to thank also the farmers that are here looking at you